This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Now, when people talk about the sanctioning bodies being either biased or corrupt, well, look no further than the WBA. They are either one of them, either biased or corrupt, or potentially both. Their rankings are awful. And when I say awful, I mean absolute wank. Consistently, each and every month, they are absolutely garbage, and it's been going on for the last couple of years, and what's anybody going to do about it? Absolutely fuck all. But either way, I'm going to go through their top 15, and not that you will need me to point out what's wrong with it, but I shall do so as we go along, so please make sure you are subscribed. Anyway, so the top 15 for the WBA goes as such. Oleksandr Usyk is the WBA Super Heavyweight World Champion. Of course, he's the undisputed Heavyweight Champion at that. The WBA Regular World Heavyweight Champion, and next in line for a crack at Usyk via the WBA is Manuel Charr. Number 1 is Martin Bakole. Number 2, Anthony Joshua. Number 3, Daneil Dubois. Number 4, Tyson Fury. Number 5, Lenier Perro. Number 6, Mike Perez. Number 7, Cassius Chaney. Number 8, Michael Hunter. Number 9, Ajit Kabiel. Number 10, Deontay Wilder. Number 11, Kubrat Pulev. Number 12, Fabio Wardley. Number 13, Jared Anderson. Number 14, Jonathan Guidry. And number 15, Ivan Daichko. So there you have it. That's the top 15 for the WBA. Do you see what I mean? They're an absolute pony. They really are. Anyway, we're going to talk about it anyway. Now, dropped out is Frank Sanchez after he got stopped, or I quit, against Ajit Kabiel. So Frank Sanchez has been dropped from the top 15 of the WBA. Rightfully so. Now, let's start off with the WBA regular World Heavyweight Champion. Now, he shouldn't be champion at all. And yes, he's currently in line to be fighting Oleksandr Usyk at some point, the current WBA Super Champion, because he's the regular champion. Because Charr's a regular champion. Much like it was with Daneil Dubois when he was regular champion. He should not be champion, Manuel Charr, but due to politics and due to the fact that the WBA screwed him about in favour of Don King bias and all that kind of stuff, he got reinstated as champion, and he hasn't defended it not once. He was supposed to defend it against the top 15. He never did it. Instead chose a Kubrat Pulev, who was not ranked in the top 15 when he was chosen as an opponent for Manuel Charr. But now, of course, now he's chosen as an opponent, suddenly Kubrat Pulev miraculously appears in the top 15 at number 11, right? Now, that fight didn't happen. Apparently, Manuel Charr got injured or is ill or whatever it was. Who gives a fuck? But it's ridiculous. Manuel Charr against Kubrat Pulev. Winner could potentially fight currently Oleksandr Usyk or whoever the super champion is going to be at that time. It's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? And speaking of champions, you've got Michael Hunter. He defeated Cassius Chaney this past weekend on a Don King card, and now he's a WBA Gold Heavyweight Champion. I'm not quite sure what that means, but I can only presume that while the winner of Charr and Pulev wait for currently Oleksandr Usyk, they may have to defend that strap against Michael Hunter. That's what I can presume is going to be happening. But as far as I was aware, the WBA were told by the alphabet committees to delete as many titles as you possibly can, the gold champion being one of them, and now they've reinstated it. The WBA don't give a fuck. They don't give a damn. They really don't. Speaking of which, not giving a damn, well, look at number 5, Lenier Perro, and number 6, Mike Perez. Mike Perez, of course, has been a career cruiserweight. He's got 3 losses against decent opponents, Marius Bradis, Brian Jennings back in the day, if you can consider him a decent opponent, and of course Alexander Povetkin. But what's he done at heavyweight? What's he done to warrant a number 6 position? Is it because he's Cuban, much like Lenier Perro? Because there's no Venezuelan heavyweights out there, they have to go to the nearest one they possibly can in Cuba. Okay, Mike Perez is Cuban / Irish, but is that why they're there? Because neither Lenier Perro or Mike Perez has done anything in the heavyweight division that would warrant such a lofty ranking. I don't care if they're some kind of continental WBA champion or whatever the hell, okay? It makes no difference. They've done nothing, absolutely nothing. And speaking of doing absolutely nothing in the heavyweight division, but yet having a high ranking, you've got Cassius Chaney and Jonathan Guidry. I mean, what have they done to warrant top 15 rankings? Guidry, which apparently I keep saying his name wrong, but he lost to Trevor Bryan. If you lose to Trevor Bryan, you have no business being in the top 15 of anywhere. In the top 50 of anywhere. But why is Cassius Chaney and Jonathan Guidry ranked in the top 15? Oh, well, can anybody guess? Don King, right? What Don King wants, the WBA does, right? That's very, very obvious. It really is. But, hey, what can you do about it? What's anybody going to do about it? What's any promoter going to do about it? Any manager, any boxer? Absolutely nothing is what you can do about it because people in boxing are absolute shitbag cowards. Now, number one, Martin Bakole. Okay, so he's number one in the WBA. And I've heard Billy Nelson and whatever talking about his position and Ben Shalom talking about his position of being number one in the WBA. It don't mean shit. It don't mean nothing. Because he ain't going to get any title shot via the WBA because of the whole Manuel Charr regular belt situation right now. And we can see the path. It's going to be Kubrat Pulev, and then it's going to be Michael Hunter. Now, Martin Bakole, he's going to be taking on Jared Anderson next. Good, okay, decent fight. Why not? I think it's a bit too early for Jared Anderson, in my opinion, especially based on his last couple of performances. But, hey, you never know. If Jared Anderson wants to warrant the tag of being the next great American heavyweight, then he's going to have to get through someone like a Martin Bakole. So either prove it or move on. So I have no issues with that one whatsoever. But I don't know who's managing or who's coaching Martin Bakole in the sense of his career path, because why are you going down the WBA route for? You know, he wants to talk about fighting a Joshua, he wants to fight a Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk and all these kind of guys. Well, why are you going through the WBA for? Because you're not going to get a shot. Not through them. I have no idea. Listen, I don't get it. Now, arguably, you could look at, say, number 4, Tyson Fury. Okay, so why is he number 4? What's number 3, Daneil Dubois, or number 1, Martin Bakole, done in boxing more than Tyson Fury? What have they done more in boxing than Tyson Fury? You don't have to like Tyson Fury at all. But answer that question. What is it that Martin Bakole and Daneil Dubois have done in boxing that's better than Tyson Fury? Except maybe not lying so much. Okay, but what is it that they've done? So why is he number 4? Surely Tyson Fury should be number 1 or number 2 or whatever, surely. Surely, right? But listen, you could argue it doesn't really matter because he's going to be fighting for the WBA strap anyway when he rematches Oleksandr Usyk in December in Riyadh season. But at the end of the day, the rankings are just absolute pish. They really are. Now, of course, you've got number 2, Anthony Joshua, taking on number 3, Daneil Dubois. Now, they're kind of pointless rankings, really, in some ways, because if that fight happens and it's going to be for the IBF strap, then there's no point in them even being ranked in the WBA. Because it's got nothing to do with them. It's everything to do with the IBF, nothing to do with the WBA whatsoever. But, hey, what can you do? Now, who's the one responsible for all this crap? Well, Gilberto Mendoza. Now, he's not a scratch on his father. Not a scratch, much like Mauricio Suleiman isn't a scratch on his father either. You see, this is a problem with sanctioning bodies, that their sons and their children inherit positions, but they don't know fuck all about boxing. They have no clue whatsoever. They're biased, they're incompetent, they're corrupt, whatever it is, whatever tag you want to put on them, it probably fits them, to be fair. It does. All sanctioning bodies are absolute garbage. Now, it will take probably a guy like Turki Al-Sheikh to either liquidate them, buy them out, or just create this super league that's been spoken about to get rid of these kind of sanctioning bodies, because the bias or the incompetence or the corruption is on another level. It's absolute garbage. It's garbage. Manuel Charr, regular WBA champion, in line to fight Usyk Fury. That's complete wank. Absolute garbage. Tyson Fury ranked below a Dubois and Martin Bakole. Absolute garbage. Anthony Joshua, I can understand because obviously he's unified belts and he's got a fantastic resume. Okay, I can understand that one. But Martin Bakole, number 1. Well, what's he done? What's he done? He hasn't done anything. Beat a Tony Yoka. Oh, whoop-de-doo. Well, so is Carlos Takam and some other fella who I can't remember his name. And they're going to take on another prospect in Jared Anderson. Okay, it's decent enough, but it's not more than what a Joshua's done or a Tyson Fury's done or even a Daneil Dubois has done. Why is he number 1? For what reason? Kubrat Pulev, why is he getting a shot? He weren't ranked in the top 15 before he was gifted this opportunity. 2 Don King fighters and Cassius Chaney and Jonathan Grigio. Okay, Cassius Chaney, okay, so he lost to Michael Hunter, so I'd fully expect his position to drop the next time the WBA release their rankings, much like I fully expect a Deontay Wilder to also drop and whatever else, and maybe a couple of others, maybe move up and move down. But this is just consistency from the WBA. They are garbage, absolute garbage. What's anyone going to do about it? What's promoters going to do about it? What's the broadcasters going to do about it? You're going to do nothing. You just sit there and go, oh, well, you know what it is, you know. Fucking cowards, absolute cowards. WBA, you are complete pish. I'm out.